Attorney Menchaca, what is the process to apply for an L1 visa? How does it work?
What you need to know is that the L1A is a two-step application process. So let's talk about how it goes. The first thing I do is prepare a document checklist of the documents that I'm going to need for my client. This checklist is the most important piece of paper of the entire process because it spells out exactly what I need for my client to apply for the L1A visa. Okay, I take the time to write a very detailed checklist that says exactly what I'm going to need so my client can do it quickly and easily.
Okay, so are these documents difficult to obtain? Are you going to be asking anything from my employer?
Sure, I'm going to ask three different types of documents. Information about you and who you are and where you've worked and so on. I'm going to ask about the company outside of the United States and your position in the company. And I'm going to ask about the company inside of the United States and your position in that company.
Okay, I see. What else?
Then I'm going to ask you to send me all those documents once you have them, and once I receive them, I'll start preparing your application. So the lawyers in my office and I will get together and we'll start preparing your application. When the application is ready, we say, all right, application number 1 is ready. We'll call you to tell you that, and we'll send the application off to USCIS, which is the Immigration Department of the United States. And once they receive it, they review it, and we wait for them to give us the green light and issue a pre-approval.
Okay, so what exactly does this pre-approval give you?
So it means one of two things. It gives you one of two things. If you are currently in the United States, then what it does, it changes your status from whatever status you have right now to the L1A status. And at that moment, if you're not already working in the company, you're able to start working for the company. Now, if you are outside of the United States, what that pre-approval means is that now you are eligible to go to a U.S. embassy or consulate outside of the United States and apply for the L1A visa. In other words, the stamp that they put on your passport.
Okay, so you mentioned that if you're outside of the United States, you have to go to a U.S. embassy or U.S. consulate. What happens then? What do I need to know?
What you need to know is that we'll call you and we'll say, okay, look, application number 2, which is the one you're going to present at the U.S. Embassy or Consulate, is ready to go. My office prepares it, and my office will schedule your appointment outside of the United States at the U.S. Embassy or Consulate. So we'll call you and we'll say, okay, the documentation's ready. You're going to go to your appointment on this day, and you're going to have an interview with the U.S. consular official about your application. So an officer is going to review your application. They're going to interview you and make sure that you meet all the requirements of the L1A visa. When they realize that you meet all the requirements, they approve you and they put a sticker on your passport, a stamp that says you now have an L1A visa, and you can use that to come into the United States.
Okay, and for this interview, how do I know what to do, what they're gonna ask me? How does that work?
Oh, well, yeah, nobody likes interviews, right? So we know that in my office, so we prepare you very carefully for the interview. We'll go through everything you need to know, from the details as to where it is, when it is. We give you advice on what kind of clothing you should wear. We tell you what types of questions we expect will be asked of you, what the best way of answering those questions is. We'll tell you what documents you need to take with you. As a matter of fact, we'll hand you the documents and say, these are the documents you need to take with you so that you can show them to the officer. In other words, we go through every detail so that you feel very comfortable and that you are ready and able to perform at your best during that interview.
And then after that, I get my visa?
Yes, once the officer realizes that you meet all the requirements during the interview, they'll approve your visa, and sometimes they give it to you right on the spot. Sometimes they give it to you like the next day or a few days later.
That sounds great. Thank you, Attorney Menchaca.
Sure, my pleasure.